Hey boys, it's HarmNone. Today we're going to be going over the top 10 best Mafia vehicles in Grand Theft Auto Online. Now, it's been a long time since I did one of these videos. Now, the criteria for something to be a Mafia vehicle on this list, it needs to have 4 doors so you and your crew can get around. It needs to be something that's got a little bit of space in it so you can bring undisclosed items with you places and potentially get other items like, I don't know, dead bodies potentially to remote locations to get rid of them. So let's go ahead and get started with number 10. At number 10 we have the Bravado Rumpo Custom, coming in at $130,000. This vehicle I believe has been removed from the game unless I am mistaken. Fingers crossed it's still in, but I don't think it is. The Rumpo Custom is a pretty cool vehicle. It's an off-road version of the Rumpo, which is pretty neat. It's got a roof rack, it's got lots of room in the back for, you know, things, contraband stuff. The back doors also slide open, so if you need to machine gun people out of it, you totally can do that, which is awesome. Of course, it is a 4-seater. It's pretty capable off-road, it's pretty capable on-road. It's actually the fastest van class vehicle in the entire game as well, so that's pretty neat. The Rumpo Custom is definitely an interesting vehicle. Unfortunately, it doesn't have like any customization, which does kind of suck. I wish that it had more that you could do to it, but unfortunately that's just not the case. It is a really cool vehicle though. It is definitely one that I would recommend looking into and potentially picking up. At number 9 we have the Dundreary Landstalker XL, coming in at just over $1.3 million. This vehicle has been removed from the game, which completely sucks, but if it ever comes back to the dealerships or the prize route or the podium, you should definitely try to win it or get it. However it comes, try to get it. It does have some good customization. It is a 4-seater, but it's got tons of room in the back for contraband, bodies, guns, anything that you want to bring with you. You can do that. It's also got a roof rack that you can put on it as well, so you can have more things. It's pretty capable off-road. It is all-wheel drive. It is basically just an updated version of the regular Dundreary Landstalker that has been in the game since 2013. Albeit this looks a lot better. It's based off of a new Ford Expedition or a Lincoln Navigator, which is pretty cool. Overall, it's a good looking vehicle. Very clean, very sleek looking, especially in all black. It definitely helps. Yeah, definitely one that I would recommend picking up if you guys are interested. Next up, we have the Enos Cognoscenti 55, coming in at $154,000. You can actually get an armored version of this, except you can't because Rockstar removed it from the game. So we're starting off strong with 3 vehicles that have been removed from the game. I'm really sorry guys, but when these do come up available, you should definitely pick them up because they are very good vehicles. The Cognoscenti 55 is a very classy sort of looking Mafia vehicle. It would be for, you know, maybe the boss to get around in because it just is simply better looking than the rest of them pretty much. It is of course a 4-seater. It does have a large trunk, and a fun fact about the Enos Cognoscenti 55 is when you're inside it, it actually has noise cancelling windows, so your engine will be way quieter on the inside of the vehicle than on the outside. And I know most cars actually work like this, but on the Cognoscenti in particular, it is like very, very quiet inside compared to some other cars, so that is really cool. Unfortunately, it doesn't have like any customization at all, but it is just a good looking classy vehicle, so I don't really think it needs much. That's it for number 8. Let's move on to number 7. At number 7, this is for, you know, your heists. We have the Karen Kuruma Armored, coming in at $525,000 all the way up to $698,000 if you don't have the trade price. The Kuruma Armored is 95% bulletproof probably, so from small arms fire you're going to be totally fine. This would be good for, yeah, doing heists and things like that with your crew. Or if you were, you know, going to get into a police chase and you knew that you're going to get shot at a bunch, that's probably when the Kuruma would come in very, very handy. This one does actually have some customization that you can do to it. It's actually pretty fast as well, so it's a good getaway vehicle for sure. It's going to keep you well protected against everything except explosives, because if you get hit by any sort of explosive, you're going to die instantly in the Karen Kuruma Armored, unfortunately, but it's pretty good regardless of that. So there you go. At number 6, we have the Benefactor Dubstud. Now you can steal this thing off the street and you can take it to Los Angeles Customs and black every single possible thing out. Now what I would recommend is getting a Benefactor Dubstud 2 if you want to learn how to do that. There's a video that I've made linked in the description down below. Shameless plug. The Dubstud is a really good looking vehicle. It is of course based off of a Mercedes G-Wagon, so you know, that's a pretty Mafia vehicle. I'm pretty sure the Russian Mafia uses those a lot. The Dubstud 2 just has blacked out badges and stuff like that, which makes it look a little more stealthy if you're going for the all black sort of look with it. Overall, it is a very decent looking vehicle. It's actually pretty fast as well. I have to say the Dubstud is actually a lot faster than you might expect. It's got a little bit of customization that you can do to it as well. It's a capable off-roader. Overall, decent vehicle, definitely one that I would recommend picking up. Next up, we have the Ubermacht Rebla GTS coming in at $1,180,000. The Rebla GTS is probably the most customizable vehicle on this entire list, and it's also one of the better performing vehicles on this list as well. It's very, very fast, so it's going to be good for getting around with your crew. It is, of course, a 4-seater. It's got a nice large trunk as well. It can take you off-road because it is all-wheel drive. And there's so much that you can do to it. You can black this thing out completely, and then you can also put carbon parts on it for some extra, lightweight capability, I guess. It's a very decent car. It's a very aggressive looking car as well, so it's going to intimidate your opponents, so that's really what you need. The Rebel GTS is just phenomenal, like in every single way. It's one that I would pick up 100%. I love the Rebel GTS. I have 2 or 3 of them, and yeah, no complaints about this vehicle whatsoever. Next up, we have the Nightshark at number 4 for $1,245,000. The Nightshark is an armored Kuruma on steroids, except it's not really because it's not nearly as bulletproof as the armored Kuruma, but it is explosive resistant. So if you're going up against the military with your Mafia crew, you might want the Nightshark. It's also got front-mounted driver-controlled machine guns, which is pretty cool. It's got armor plating that you can put all over the vehicle. It can seat 4 players, of course, and it does have a relatively large trunk as well for delivering contraband to remote locations and whatnot. It's very capable off-road, and it is actually quite fast as well, especially for how armored it is. The Nightshark is a phenomenal vehicle. It's one, if you don't own one already, I'd be completely surprised. And if you don't own one, pick one up right now. That's not a request. At number 3, we have the Granger 3600 LX coming in at $1,500,000 to $2 million, depending on if you have the trade price or not. For some reason, they increased the price of this thing, even though it's one of the worst Imani Tech capable vehicles in the game. Not really sure why Rockstar felt the need to do that, but whatever. The Granger does hold 4 players on the inside, and I do believe that you can actually hold 4 players on the outside as well. So that's pretty cool. It's got a lot of customization, and like I said, it's an Imani Tech vehicle, meaning that you can put additional armor on this thing as well as a missile lock-on jammer. So again, if you're going up against the military, this might be one you want to consider. It also has bullet resistant windows. They can take 15 shots from an assault rifle before they break and before, obviously, the occupants of the vehicle get shot. It's also got a very large trunk as well, and it is a pretty capable vehicle. However, there is one drawback to this. The original Granger 3500 LX from 2013 is actually faster in a straight line than the 3600 LX, so it's a fun fact about it. So you might want to consider a 3500 because it costs 35 grand instead of 1.5 mil on the low. So yeah, but it does have a Imani Tech, which is pretty cool, so I would recommend that. Oh, and it also has an oil slick proximity mine dropper, so you can drop that if anyone's chasing you and they will spin out. It's pretty cool. That's it for number 3. On to number 2. At number 2, we have the Enos Jubilee coming in at just over $1.2 million if you have the trade price, to just over $1,650,000 if you do not have the trade price. The Jubilee is a fantastic looking SUV in GTA Online. It's based off the Rolls-Royce Cullinan in real life, and on the outside it is a very luxurious vehicle. However, we don't talk about the interior on the Enos Jubilee because it shares that with the Canis Seminole as well as some other vehicles, which is slightly disappointing for a $1 million+ SUV. But anyways, especially one that's supposed to be based off the Rolls-Royce Cullinan, which is one of the most luxurious cars in real life. But anyway, we don't have to talk about it. So yeah, the Enos Jubilee is another Imani Tech capable vehicle. It has a missile lock-on jammer as well that you can put on it, as well as armor. Also an oil slick proximity mine dropper, and those windows are bullet resistant for up to 15 shots from an assault rifle as well, similar to the Granger 3600 LX. Although this is a cheaper vehicle than the 3600, and it outperforms it in every single metric. It handles better, it's faster in a straight line. I think it, well, I don't know if it looks better. It's hard to say if it looks better. I kind of like the Granger 3600, but the Jubilee is pretty phenomenal, and for less money than the Granger, you can't go wrong with picking one of these things up. It is going to get you to wherever you need to go. You can deliver your contraband into the woods with this thing, and it's going to be fine. It's going to make it, it's all-wheel drive, it's fast off the line, it's fast in a straight line, it's fast around corners. Not much bad to say about the Enos Jubilee. It's going to be a great Mafia vehicle for you. Pick it up for sure. And finally, at number 1, the Enos Deity is our #1 best Mafia vehicle in the game. It kind of does everything. It's $1,383,750 if you have the trade price, up to $1,845,000 if you don't have the trade price. The ENIS deity has the same front end as the ENIS Paragon R, which was removed from the game, but this is just the four-doored version of it, and this has quite a bit of customization that can be done to it. It's also an Imani Tech vehicle like the last two, so you can put the missile lock-on jammer on. It's got the armor upgrade. It actually has front-mounted machine guns. So does the ENIS Jubilee and the 3600 LX, actually, by the way. I forgot to mention that, so apologies for that. This thing also has the front-mounted machine guns, the oil slick proximity mine dropper, and the bullet-resistant windows. They can take 15 shots from an assault rifle. It is a very decent car. Now, unfortunately, off the line, it is very slow, but if you want like a luxurious Mafia vehicle for the Mafia boss to cruise around in, look no further than the ENIS Deity. It's probably the best one in the game. The interior is really nice as well. It is, of course, a four-seater. It's got a trunk. It pretty much ticks all the boxes except for being able to really go off-road very effectively. For that, I would recommend the 3600 or the Jubilee, or maybe the Reblo or the Night Shark, or basically most of the vehicles I went over on this list, to be honest. But it is truly a very decent car. I would recommend the ENIS Deity. It's a nice car to have just in general because it's very classy looking, and it's also got that armor and the bullet resistant windows and everything like that. So I think it's a very good car. I would recommend the Deity. It's the #1 best Mafia vehicle in the game right now. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, a like is of course appreciated. If not, dislike. Subscribe to my channel if you guys are new. Comment down below and let me know if you think I missed any good Mafia vehicles, and maybe I'll make a part 2 to this very soon. We'll see. Anyway guys, I will see you in the next video. Until then, take care. Peace.